Ourvoices with Carey Digsby. I am your host, Carey Digsby, and looking forward to spending some time with you guys, listeners, as we look into the positive side of media. A little background about myself. I am the editor in chief for Urban Times Magazine, which is a website, digital magazine in which we talk about and we share with our readers news, business, entertainment, the whole nine yards, but from a positive side. Also, editor for Music Magazine, where we promote indie artists and share with those indie artists the background and behind the scenes and what they need to know being an artist in this industry. So hopefully during this podcast, which this is the very first one, and it will hopefully shed a little light on what we're going to do, what we hope to share with you in future podcasts, as well as just show the positive side of media. I mean, it's been a while since we've got a chance to see that. I mean, if you get on the news and you look at everything that's going on, I mean, from the negativity that 45 is dishing out to basically it seems like how social media and also just shows today aren't the same shows that used to be back in the day. And we hope to shed a little bit of a positive light, give you an alternative to those things, and also hear from you. I mean, that's the most important thing. So sit back, relax, stay tuned, and just check us out as we go forward. All right, we're back. Our voices with Carey Digsby. Earlier, I had mentioned right before the commercial break about TV shows and how it has changed. And we actually did a podcast some time ago that I'm a part of at the round table with my co-hosts, well, actually my partners in crime. I'm not gonna say co-hosts because they run the thing. I just sit back on the boards. But Tika Rose as well as Adrian Biddle, we were actually talking about television shows, and we brought in a special guest, Dana Sidbury of Motivation Marketing, and we were really getting into the heart of it as far as how TV shows aren't what they used to be. I mean, let's sit back and think, okay? Let's reminisce. Good Times, The Cosby Show. It's a Different World. I mean, even the cartoons. I mean, the cartoons have gone way late. You know, you can't even get up on Saturday mornings and watch a good cartoon. And I'll be honest with you, I would love to get up in the morning and get a bowl of Sugar Smacks and sit right in front of the TV and watch my cartoons and such. And I mean, even to now, with so much of the hustle and bustle that goes on in my life, just something about being able to sit back on a Saturday morning and just relax and just look at, animation or whatever, and just kind of takes you away. And we don't get that today. And it makes you wonder as far as what our kids are getting right now. What is their source of entertainment? Uh, the family values that used to be attributed to much of these shows, it seems like it's just gone. And unfortunately, things aren't what it used to be. So, with that being said, I welcome your thoughts in regards to that. If you get a chance, I want you to email your thoughts. Email me at Urban Times Magazine, Urban Times at hotmail.com. That's TYMES at hotmail.com. Let's talk about that. I'd love for you to chime in, and I'll get a chance to actually post your responses on the next podcast. But moving forward, I want you guys to check out this snippet. I love music, and like I said, with my other publication, which is Music Magazine, I'm very well afforded the opportunity to listen to so many new artists that come out. But this young lady right here, I mean, she's been in the industry for a while, and it's amazing the music that she produces. it takes you back. And that's another topic we're going to talk about as well, music, because things aren't what they used to be. So let's see and listen to Nicci Canada. Stay tuned.
Love remains, but it's so hard to find when led by the Father. Love is so divine. Trust it builds in time. Will you be mine? Will you be mine? Let's pray together. Let's stay together. That's the way it was meant to be, baby, between you and me. We'll walk hand in hand and raise a family. For better or worse, I choose you first. Take it back the way it used to be. Love was pure, it was destiny. Take it back. Oh, let's take it back. Yeah, take it back the way it used to be. When love was pure, it was destiny. Take it back. Let's take it back. Passion, desire, only you can light my fire. Nothing else matters to me. One God, one love, destiny. One God, one love, one destiny. Oh, baby, you drive me so crazy with your smile. You're my everything. Time with you is worth all the while. Let's do it like the golden days when they walked in the park until dark. Oh love, I love this love between me and you. Take it back the way it used to be. Love was pure, it was destiny. Take it back. Oh, let's take it back. Yeah.
She's amazing. Nicci Canada is amazing. All right. She's here out of the QC, Queen City, Charlotte area. And we actually got a chance to sit down and interview Nicci in regards to her background, her journey in this industry, and what she learned over the course of the years and how she came to be where she is right now and how blessed she is right now. So I'm not even going to say anymore. I want you to check out this interview that we did with Nicci Canada.
So today has been an amazing day, and it is culminated to being right here with this phenomenal artist. I was surprised when my partner told me that I had the opportunity to interview her. So I want to introduce her to you, Nicci Canada.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because it is a distinct pleasure to get the opportunity to interview you, because I got the opportunity to listen to your music. And one thing I want to tell you guys is that when you listen to Nicci's music, it takes you back. It is soulful. It is a lot of jazz. It's comforting. And honestly, I listened to it from beginning to end. I didn't even stop.
Okay.
And I found myself, like, I clicked it, and then all of a sudden I looked, and it was like over. And I was like, wait a minute, I went through all those tracks? And it's that type of album that you have out there. So thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
So first question, of course, we always have to ask, how did it come to be Nicci Canada? Give us a little bit of history on you, because I know you're from West Virginia.
Yes.
Okay. And a little bit to add to it, your family was in music as well. So how did that influence you?
Well, I mean, I grew up in the church.
Okay.
I was born in the church.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't say born in the church. I think I took about 10 months old when my mother and father started taking me to church. That's what they told me. But anyway, growing up in the church, singing was just something that you had to do.
Right.
You joined the choir.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you had to do. So, that was just something that was expected.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody sang in the choir, but I just didn't. I never. It was funny because my sister, she was the one that was very, like, the powerhouse singer. The one, my father was a preacher, and everybody requested Jamaica, and I was very timid. Scared to sing.
Not shy.
Very, yeah. When it came to singing,
Oh.
yeah. So I didn't think that I would be here.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that I kind of fell into.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I kind of fell into it. Actually, you ever heard of Guitar Center?
Yes.
Guitar Center.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at Guitar Center one day and just filling around on the keyboard or whatever, and I was singing.
Mm-hmm.
And a stranger came up to me and said, you're going to miss your calling. And I was like, okay, well, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, you should be singing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, really? I was like, okay. So I started singing. I started reaching out to producers, and I remember during that time, me and my husband, we were struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we saved the whole $200. The whole $200 we had in our account back then. And my husband just kept nagging me. He said he wanted his keyboard. And I kept thinking, why do you want the keyboard? We only have $200 in our account.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, I just think it'll be good, for us to just do something, so I was upset that he would want to spend our whole savings on a keyboard. So out of spite, I went and bought the keyboard. Like, you know what? This is what you wanted anyway. And I went and bought it. So when he would go to work, and when he was working, he worked second shift. So when he would go to work, I would play around with it. But when he was at home, I act like I didn't want to do it.
Okay.
So, I started fiddling around on the keys. The next thing you know, Preacher's Kid, Gone Bad, that song came out. Love Letter. These are the songs that I first started to write with the keyboard. And so from that just came, my first demo. My husband got a second job because he believed in what I was doing at that time. So, he went and got a second job to pay for my first demo. That was back in 2006, I believe.
Wow.
And just with that demo, I was just knocking at at that time, it was more inspirational, like gospel.
Okay.
So, I'm knocking at every church door I could, wherever I could go to sing. And it just went from there, and throughout that journey, I really, and then I, speed up to 2011, I had my first, the project you're talking about. Yep. And it was like a smorgasbord of neo soul, gospel, jazz. It had everything, but I really, during that time, I realized that I want to be a jazz singer. So it's kind of like something I evolved into. And now I'm here. I consider myself to be a jazz soul singer, but with the foundation of gospel music.
Wow. And that's good too, because many prolific singers have that basic foundation, which is the gospel.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and you just mentioned how you went from R&B to neo soul, jazz, and then all of a sudden you found that jazz is your calling.
Yes.
Explain why that particular music genre just speaks to you more so than the others.
It doesn't have any rules.
Okay.
It doesn't have any rules to me. You just do whatever. Growing up in the church, if I wasn't screaming my heart out and, screaming so loud that I just felt like people would say, well, you sound good, but, in church, you got to sing to black folks. Yes. I'm just going to be honest with you. You got to sing. Yeah. And I felt like I just didn't have what people were looking for. I felt inadequate singing gospel music, because I didn't have that, people want chills. They want, and what I found in jazz is that I could be myself. And I don't have to, I don't have to dance and all these other things in order to entertain. That just wasn't my style. With jazz, I said, well, I like beautiful dresses. I remember I had my husband introduced me to Liz Wright. And I sat and I watched her and even Sade and artists like that. And I said, you know what? They're not screaming to the top of their lungs, but yet they sound wonderful. Thousands and thousands of people come to see them. Why? Because they love the art. And I said, this is what I want to be able to offer to people. And so jazz allowed me to do that. I'm like, I'm up here and I'm singing, I'm doing what I love. Gospel music just didn't, I just didn't feel comfortable in that genre. I didn't feel comfortable in R&B. R&B, you know, I have to dance a little bit. I got 2 left feet. I said, R&B's not going to work for me.
2 left feet, okay.
So, you know, when I got to jazz, it was the elegance of it. It was the, you know, the art. It's just something that drew me. And then, you know, I started, you know, we grew up in gospel. I didn't hear about Billie Holiday till I got in my 20s.
Okay.
I didn't know about Nina Simone. I didn't know about Ella. I didn't know about any of these artists. We grew up on commission and Mahalia Jackson. And so I didn't know anything about the other jazz artists. So once I hit my 20s and I started to listen to them, I was like, I took a liking to the art of jazz, and that was it.
Wow, amazing. You mentioned Ella Fitzgerald, and I know there was a major project that you were involved in regards to that. So I want to talk a little bit about that, as far as how you came to be a part of that project, as well as L Train.
L Train, Latron, L Train Bradley. Yeah. Well, you know what? I love Ella Fitzgerald. I'm gonna tell you, she has a whenever she opens her mouth, I always hear love. You know, it was just something attracted to me. And, you know, nobody can sing like Ella. Nobody can scat like Ella. And I just said, you know, I want to do a tribute to her. And, you know, I had put the package together and I kept trying to shop it and I kept being told no. That's the worst thing you can do to Nicci Canada. You tell me no. Whatever somebody tell me no, I hear yes. So, you know, I remember I had a good friend put me on the L Train, Latron, and said, you know, he was doing some shows and stuff like that in the Charlotte area, whatever. So I just called him and said, hey, you know, I'm trying to do something, you know, let's talk. So we sat down, we talked, and we decided to, you know, to do the Ella show together. So within 2-3 months, we had it ready. We did it last year. We turned around and did it this year. The first time we had the one show, but this year we did the 2 back-to-back shows, and it was really, really good. As being well, there's so much. I don't even know if we have time to talk about it all, but I'll stay on the surface. I've learned so much from the first show to the next show. You know, I'm not just a singer, I'm an entrepreneur, you know? So, you know, putting these shows together has taught me a lot. And also, of course, I never really thought that I would do a production like that. But, you know, I had a chance to stand on a stage to sing with the symphony, the Charleston Symphony Orchestra. And if it was a God experience for me.
Oh, wow.
Like a major God experience. Like, I remember standing on that stage, and I remember the director, the director of the symphony, he said, you know, Nicci Canada, he said, where did you come from? I never heard of you, but there was someone who backed out of the show, and they were looking for a singer ASAP. So the time my booking agent called me and said, Nicci, what do you think about the, you know, and I remember thinking like, wow, this is a big opportunity. And I remember I was about to call him back. No, I did call him back, and I said, look, I don't know if I could do this. I was very intimidated. And he was like, no, you're a star. This is what you were made for. And I got on stage, and we practiced for like 15 minutes. It was showtime, an hour. And when I stood on that stage, it was almost like I had been, like I was ready for the moment. You know, there's more to the story because, you know, I had a cleaning business. I had a cleaning business up until that point. So I was preparing myself while I was sweeping floors every day. That's how I was writing my music. This is how everything that I envisioned, where I'm at now, I was doing that while I was cleaning houses, cleaning buildings, you know. So when I stood on that stage that day, it was like I heard the Most High say, you know, this is what I have for you. And in that inspiration, I came back home thinking, man, this is like a Cinderella story. Because I had literally, and when I went from there, I went from that to I went to sing with the Oklahoma Symphony, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So it was, both of them were like a Cinderella story. I get off the plane, I'm cleaning houses the next day. And I kept thinking, man, you know, I got this one shoe here, but that shoe I left, you know, and I kept thinking, why am I here? Why did I experience all of this? There's a reason why. And Dapper Street Productions, my production company, all that was birthed out of that one experience. Because I kept thinking, surely I didn't experience this for nothing. Right. You know, I didn't come down here back to cleaning houses and cleaning buildings for nothing. What did I need to get out of this? So I'm thankful for that experience. I don't know how I got off this topic.
No, that's on you. Hey, keep the train going. There's a thread there. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and do it. We'll get there.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, all of that, just the different experiences led up to where I'm at now. You know, just I mean, I did start the production company and with the Ella, and I've picked up a booking agent. So hopefully, you know, the goal is to get Ella on the road. But I'm not one to sit and wait.
Right.
The next production is coming. You know, that's what entrepreneurs do. You know, we continue to move, and I'm a creator. You know, so that's where I'm at now musically. Still singing. I do want to do my first official jazz project next year. But right now I'm just doing, you know, a lot of private gigs and stuff like that. And here locally, did a lot of partnering with the Art and Science Council. And I'm just sitting back and watching it all unfold.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads to the next question, because you mentioned it, how you went from you cleaning houses and such, and cleaning offices. Then all of a sudden you're on a plane, and you're going out to Tulsa, Oklahoma. You're going down to Charleston. You're singing with symphonies.
Yes.
You birthed Dapper Street. With all that being said, there is up and coming artists that are out there right now. What words could you give them right now in regards to the industry?
Yeah.
And how to basically stay humble and stay on the grind?
Well, if I may, I'm a backtrack just a little bit.
Okay.
You know, back in 1990, it's funny now because, you know, I think we're on the verge of all of these things being legal. But, you know, back in those days, I was in college. I sold weed. I got in trouble. Okay. I ended up with a felony. And with that felony, it ruined my life. I mean, it ruined my life at that moment. I couldn't get a job. I had moved down here to Charlotte, got married. And everywhere I looked to get a job, I was constantly denied. And it frustrated me. They kept telling me, I'm sorry, you know, you got a felony. We can't hire you. And I got tired of hearing that, and it angered me. And I never forget, I was at Harris Teeter because I had applied at the produce section. This was back in 2003 because I moved to Charlotte in 2002. 2003, 2004, I remember applying at the produce section at Harris Teeter. I was desperate. And I remember I went back to check on my application. And again, you know, like I said, every time I turn around, because at that time, you know, it was like, well, I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, I'm going to be honest. You know, I was always honest, and I kept getting no. And I remember going back to check on my application, and I could see it on the man's face. And I said, well, I was just trying to see if I got the job in the produce section. He said, well, you know, your application came back. I'm sorry. I said, well, could you explain why? He said, well, you know, you have a felony and we can't hire you. And I was so angry. And I was thinking, okay, Nicci, just chill. He's just doing his job. But I got in a car and I just started screaming. I was so angry. And I kept thinking, you know I made a mistake, but I can't find a job. And I kept thinking, well, at that time, my mother would always say, well, you know, just hold on, baby. You know, the Lord is whatever. And I was like, I don't want to hear all that. I need a job. And I kept thinking to myself, well, if it was meant for me to have this job, I would have had it. And I got so angry. I said, you know what do I have inside of me? What can I create so I'm not so frustrated? And that's when I started my cleaning business. Because I knew then, I said, well, you know what? I can't find a job. Nobody's going to hire me because I have a felony. And so that's when I started my cleaning business. And so the cleaning business is what allowed me to be free to create, you know, I wasn't at work 8 hours a day. I had 2 sons at home. My husband worked second shift. So, you know, there's some things, you know, I wish I could go back and do over again. But had it not been for that situation, a lot of these things would not have been birthed out of me. Because I took that, people say, you know, I literally took lemons and made lemonade. Okay. You know, and I created a job for myself, I was good at cleaning. And I kept thinking, well, I can't find nothing to do, so let me make, I'm gonna create a job. Since y'all won't hire me, I'm gonna create the job. And so what I'll say to the people that are listening, my thing is that, first of all, you never give up. Never give up. There is something, I know some people don't like to hear this, but I tell people all the time, we live in a society now where everything is overnight. Everything is just pop up. You think things are supposed to happen. My thing is that, are you still committed even if it doesn't happen for another 10 years? Are you committed if what it is that the Most High has shown you or whatever you believe in, what if it don't happen for 20 years? Are you still committed to what it is that you've seen? The reason why I'm here is because in spite of everything that I don't, like I said, I don't consider myself to be a victim of things that I did in my life that I paid for. Mm-hmm. But I know what I saw. I had a vision years ago that showed me everything that I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. And I held tight, I held true, I held on to that vision. That vision was what I saw, was what kept me going. I believed in what I'm doing. You cannot, if you truly believe, you in order to continue, in order to be successful, you first have to believe. First you have to see it.
Right.
Then you have to believe it. And even though things don't maybe not work out, you don't take no for an answer. Continue, do not quit. Now, so I quit the industry about 11 times since I've been doing this. Okay. I say I'm tired, I don't want to do it no more. In about 4 or 5 days, I'm back up and I'm doing it again. Mm-hmm. But I would tell those that are doing what it is that I'm doing, or you may not even be in the music, whatever it is that you truly want to do, in spite of the obstacles and the doors being slammed in your face. There's a lot of times doors are being slammed in your face, but they're supposed to be. We're so eager sometimes that we just want to walk through doors even though we're not supposed to walk through them. You have to be patient. And I would say you have to be patient. You have to have faith, but you still have to be diligent in what you do. This stuff requires hustle. You see what I'm saying? What I've obtained thus far is not laying in the bed watching Netflix all day. Okay. So I would say definitely get up. You have to have the faith, and that faith needs to be in motion. And again, it might not happen, or it might not happen overnight, and you have to be okay with that because it's the process. There were so many things that I wanted overnight. Now I think to myself, well, had I been given that opportunity then, I would have messed it up because I wasn't seasoned back then like I'm seasoned now. I wasn't wise back then like I am wise now. Mm-hmm. So I'm thankful for the I'm thankful for the process. Mm-hmm. I'm thankful for the journey, and all I know is that if you believe it, it will become.
Man, that was powerful. Y'all hear that? You believe it, it will come. Yeah. Well, with that being said, sis, how can our fans, our followers, and your fans, your followers, get in contact with Nicci?
Okay, well, you can visit my website at www.niccicanada.com. Nicci is spelled with 2 C's. So that's Nicci, Canada like the country.com. I'm on Instagram, Nicci Canada. Facebook is Nicci Canada Jazz. Okay. Yeah, those are the 3 places that you can reach me. If you want to go to my production company website, that's dapperstreetproductions.com.
Well, y'all heard it first, right here. We get to sit down and chit-chat with Nicci Canada. She told us about the process. She told us about the gift, her passion, and herself. Yes. Y'all heard it first here. Y'all stay tuned. We got more for you very soon.
All right, we're right back here at Ourvoices with Carey Digsby. I kind of briefly mentioned right before we got into the Nicci Canada interview how things aren't what they used to be. And that's kind of the moniker of our first podcast episode. Things aren't what they used to be. And I kind of shed a little light on how TV shows, and then we talked briefly about music. But also, I want to go ahead and share with you guys, and I'm not trying to put anybody out there, but I definitely, my goal is to do the positive side of media. And I kind of want to drop some topics to you each time on our podcast to encourage as well as promote individuals, as well as get you thinking. All right. So as I briefly stated, things aren't what they used to be. And that's even in the industry. I've been in this thing for about 10 years, a little bit longer. This is just the magazine portion of it. But even before that, dealing with entertainers and musicians and individuals when it comes to promotion. And the one thing that seems very apparent is things aren't what they used to be, is loyalty sometimes. In this business, you have to develop a serious foundation, and you also have to develop loyalty in that. And that loyalty comes from basically recognizing the talents that individual has and helping them hone those talents, as well as them helping you. And it seems like over the years, a lot of people that get in the industry, they tend to kind of like flip flop and jump from one thing to another. And they wonder why the dream, the vision that they had for themselves in this industry is not coming to fruition. And that's the reason why. You have to really build a good strong foundation, and you can't jump from ship to ship to ship because something looks good or looks better over there. In this industry, relationships are very important. You know, relationships can either make or break you. Individuals that you either worked with or worked for may, go up the quote unquote ladder and be in a position to help you. So when you do things that are detrimental to that, you set yourself up to fail, really. So I know I was talking to a colleague some time ago, and it seems as though now, with the use of social media as well as, accessibility to certain electronics and such, you no longer have to go into a, studio. You can make your own studio at home. You can record things online. You can actually, do free conference calling. I mean, you can do so much in order to quote unquote build your brand. But the most important thing in regards to building the brand is the people. It's the relationships that you develop with them, and the things that you learn from each other, and you hone each other's craft, and you help each other and elevate each other. I've got a partner that, regularly says collaboration over competition. And while that's very important, you also have to realize too that, there's enough out here for everybody. And by realizing that, you and those individuals could grow. So I just want to drop that on you real quick. Think about it, ponder on it. And we're going to go back and we're going to pay a couple more bills. Got a quick sponsorship that I want to share with you. And then we're going to come back and wrap up the show. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we're back. Man, this has been amazing. It's the first podcast, and I know it wasn't a very long one. We're actually trying to get everything situated here in the office, as well as bring to you some more news and entertainment and individuals. It was purposeful in order to bring out many of our sponsors. We want to thank our sponsors right now for supporting Ourvoices with Carey Digsby. I also want to give a shout out to Tika Rose, Adrian Biddle, Tangi Watts, and a host of other individuals that have just been with us on this journey. Like I said, I've been doing this portion of it in regards to the media for over 10 years, and it's just been amazing. And what better way to round out my 10-year anniversary with Urban Times Magazine to host my own podcast show. So again, I want to thank you guys. I look forward to your thoughts, your input. I also ask you to email me at urbantimes, that's urban, TYMES, at hotmail.com with subjects, topics that you want to talk about, interviews, because we are going to be bringing people in to interview them personally, and just really have them share with our readers and our followers and our listeners their side of the story. Because again, when you hear it, it's an amazing testimony, and it allows you to know that you too can be successful. You too can do some great things if they did it, and just learn from it. So again, I want to thank you guys once again for being a part of Our Voices with Carey Digsby, and stay tuned. Y'all have a blessed one.